I've got two things really briefly to cover today. One is some enhancements to RATS, which is the timing supervisor, which you've seen before, and we've made some changes to. And the other one is to talk about the line follower board for UKMARS bot. So looking at RATS, there's a bunch of things that have changed. Again, we were hoping to be able just to point to it on the display at Minos as we all ran our mice, but obviously that's not happening. So I've completely reworked the display windows, conversations with Peter, and pulling together what we think is probably the best of other people's designs for display boards. And I'll show you one of those in a minute. There are two separate designs because 4:3, so 800 by 600 and 16:9 screens don't project the same. So you can choose whichever suits your device. The 4:3 is there because 800 to 600 is probably de facto the lowest common denominator on projectors for results. I've put the running order into the display rather than as a separate display. So now you can see when your robot is due to run, and as the entries tick by, you'll see those disappear. The controlled course time, or the contest time that we allow, and the number of runs allowed are actually now enforced by the timer. So previously we didn't do that. We relied on manual intervention if people were exceeding their time or their runs, and now we've taken that out, so it will do that for you. Minimized USB traffic. Historically, RATS was put together quite quickly to work with David's gates, and we needed a display. So we put a lot of traffic on the USB because the timer device, the Arduino timer, was doing basically all the work and just sending messages back to the supervisor for display. We've now cut that right down. So interpolating between starts and ends is all done by the supervisor, but you can carry on doing it the old way if you want to. You can also ask the supervisor to do the timing for you. So actually all your gates have to do is to send a message to say, essentially say start timing now and stop timing now, and the PC will do it all for you. It's there. Again, preferably you'd use the timer to do the timing so you can get down to the 1 millisecond accuracy, which you certainly can't get to using the Windows application. Added an audit log of all timer messages received, so any message that's received from the timer is logged. If we needed to go back over an event and check a time, or we were unhappy or something went awry, we would be able to see all the timer messages and figure out what was going on if we wanted to. And finally, the database that sets up the entries has had Markdown added to it. Again, thanks to Peter sending that Markdown script that will mean we can export the results in a form that's ready to be published onto our platforms without having to go through some horrible table conversions for the web software. So those are the changes. I'm now going to add, as well as children and animals, timing devices to things that you probably shouldn't do live. So just bear with me while I swap windows. Okay, so this is the 4:3 800 by 600 window of the timer. I'll try and show you a few things with a mouse. It doesn't always work particularly well, but basically usual header stuff, you know, which competition are we in, which event, what's the challenge that's being attempted, whether it's heats or finals, what's the robot name and whose robot is it. Then front and center is basically the current runtime, much larger than as you remember the old display. We're also showing the time left, which will show in green if you've got time left. It will turn to red if you've run out of time. what your best score is for this robot and where that ranks in the robot runs so far. If you've incurred any touches, if they're relevant to your competition, and which run number you're doing out of how many you're allowed to do. And I mentioned before that the running order of entries is actually now included on the screen. So there's the run order for this competition. So I've got this attached to a test timer, and I'll try and hopefully show you this thing going through. So I'm just going to I put a mouse in the start cell, and as soon as we've put a mouse in the start cell, we've started the time left ticking away. So your course time has started now. You've put your mouse in there. If we start the mouse, then as you'd expect, just the main display ticking away there, quite big, and then we can finish the mouse run, and that will hold that there and include the run in the table of runs for this mouse. And it's the only run for this mouse at the moment, so it happens to be the best score time, so it's actually stored up in here as well. So if we try another run with the same mouse, got quick with that one. So we've run the second run there. You'll see that the best score time has been updated to reflect the other one. Also notice that now this mouse has done some runs, it's disappeared from the running order. So that running order shuffles up as the contest goes on. And then if we go back to the start gate, try to run again. Okay, we're now 3 runs out of 2. That's it. We've timed out. We're not even trying to show a time, and that will save pretty much any discussion around have I run out of time, haven't I run out of time, will this time count for me. A similar thing happens. I'm just going to change that now. Yeah. So now I've actually selected another robot. I've said that robot's finished. So we've now moved on to Sprite 4, built by Titania, and obviously everything is cleared down apart from the runtime for Tinker, which is still showing there. I won't sit here for 2 minutes just to show you the course time clock running down, but that does exactly the same as running too many runs. It will turn the time display red and stop you going any further. So that's a kind of quick whiz around what you would have seen had we been able to carry on and do what we wanted to do for Minos.